Mesotora began to make his way down the corridors once again. He may have refilled the spiritual energy crystals, but he still had many other things to attend to for the day. Among these things was ensuring that the wards that he had placed on her room remained stable. He had to contact one of the members of the SEAL Force, a division of the military, which consisted entirely of SEALs mages, who possessed the power to create and maintain wards, barriers, teleportation gates, and other magical implements around the city, including the one that kept the castle and everyone in it within temporal sync with the other realms. He had to ensure that the wards would stay in place, that the Queen's safety was maintained at all costs. No one, aside from him, was allowed to enter the room, not only for their own safety, but for hers as well. She would attack anyone who entered, regarding them as a distraction from waiting for her son's call, and kill them without hesitation. But it was also possible that someone might try to make a move, that an assassin might be sent to try to do away with her, thinking that she is in a weakened state, and they're not far from the truth. She is much weaker than she normally would be. She hardly eats at all. It had been more than 3 days since the last time he was able to get her to feed on one of the crystals, and it would be no telling how much longer until the next one. It was not constant. Sometimes she would go a week, even more, without eating, and as such, her abilities have begun to decline, her demonic energy presence weakening. She's still far more powerful than any low or mid-rank demon, but a high enough ranked demon could still try to attempt to get the job done. So it was necessary that the wards remain strong, that they cannot be undone in any quick measure of time. The wards that he placed on her room were exceptionally powerful, the best that the castle could offer, and multiple layers at that. So much so that it would take a great deal of time to undo. One would have to spend an entire day with a SEAL's master in order to have any hope of getting through them. But those wards did not last forever. They needed to be maintained in order to keep their strength up. So once per day he would check the wards, ensure that they were fully functioning and had not been tampered with. As of yet, no one had tried, but he was not about to let his guard down. He had already lost his son, and whether his wife was well or not, he would not be losing her too, he thought to himself as he continued pacing down the corridors. He, of course, knows that what happened was not his fault. He never could have suspected that someone would break all of the way into the castle, being able to make it all the way to the prince's room and steal away with him. There are powerful wards that protect the castle from being entered by intruders or people with ill intent. It shouldn't have been possible at all, which only makes it all the more concerning that someone was able to. He could not help but somewhere deep down blame himself, thinking that it's possible, even though he knows otherwise, that it was a lapse in his ability, in his parental responsibility, that brought about his son's disappearance. No doubt, his wife felt the same, only to a far greater degree, which is why she sits, convincing herself of the story that her son is not gone, that he's still there, that if she is attentive enough, that if she waits, if she devotes every ounce of time and energy and focus to awaiting his call, that her attentiveness will be rewarded. that she will hear him call to her. It is torment of her very soul, Mesotora thought to himself. I have to be able to pull her back out of it. I will not allow this to be my wife's fate. It has been too long. It was at that point that Mesotora took note of an armored figure coming very rapidly down the hallway, running, his armor clanking as he did, taking note of him and running in his direction immediately. As he arrived, kneeling down in front of him. Master Mesotora, I have urgent news. It had better be. I am very busy. Yes, of course, Master Mesotora. Lord Valus sends word. Because you did not inspect the troops, he thought it prevalent to dispatch them immediately. They have already left and are on their way to the human world. But other things have arisen, sir. We have received a royal envoy. It is King Baldir, sir. What? Mesotora replied, looking down at him in shock. What is he doing here? Why is he here? It doesn't make any sense. What is the Black Iron King doing in our kingdom? I don't know, sir. I've simply been told to give you word that you are to meet him and Lord Valus in the royal guest hall. Apparently, they wish to have a discussion with you. I don't know what the topic is, why he's come, but Lord Valus insisted that you be there. Well, that makes sense. Of all of the rulers that preside over the kingdoms surrounding our own, the Black Iron King stands as the strongest. His kingdom is the smallest of the 4 great kingdoms, but he himself stands as the strongest king. There are very few demons who would even think of trifling with him. He is a dangerous man by any measures, not to be taken lightly. The amount of damage that he alone could bring to this kingdom, should he decide to act, could be tremendous if he is not met with a great deal of force in a very fast measure of time. Damn it! What does it mean? Why is he here? Mesotora said to himself. You are dismissed. I will begin making my way to the royal guest hall. Yes, sir, the soldier said, before standing back up and beginning to run off. Damn, Mesotora said to himself. Does this have something to do with my son? Or is he here to simply try to take advantage? I suppose there's only one way to find out, he said, as he began to rapidly pace down the hallway, now quickening his speed a great deal. But he was not heading directly for the royal guest hall. No. If he was going to be receiving the Black Iron King, he would need to be prepared. So, in quick order, he rushed to the Royal Weapons Reserve, locked behind a set of massive doors, forged of the hardest metal that can be found within the demon realm, imbued with countless magical seals so that only those high-ranked within the kingdom can open the doors, because within it lie the kingdom's most dangerous weapons, including his own. The massive steel doors had placed within the center of them a circular pattern, emblazoned with countless magical seals. With no hesitation whatsoever, Mesotora placed his hand onto the seal, that circular ring, and forced his demonic energy into it. At which point, the door recognized him as being authorized to enter. The sound of metal against metal began to pour out from the door as its countless moving metal parts, gears and shifting pieces, began to stir, the countless locks upon it unsealing, the magical wards deactivating, as the massive steel doors, standing nearly 50 foot tall, opened wide for Mesotora, revealing the royal armory. And there, in the center of the room, surrounded by weapons of every kind and assortment, the most powerful that the kingdom had to offer, in the center stood his own weapon that dwarfed all others. An absolutely massive double-handed blade, known only as Malice, the Devil Slayer blade. Nearly 6 foot long, forged from the fangs of a celestial dragon, heat-treated within the fire of the Hell Fissure, an inter-realm event that occurs only once every 10,000 years, in which a rift to hell tears its way open within the demon realm, and the fires of hell itself pour from it, and finally quenched in water taken from the celestial river that flows life into all realms. It is one of the most powerful weapons in this world, and the greatest weapon treasure that the Matara kingdom has to offer. The right to wield it was bestowed upon him, and him alone. And if he was receiving a visit from the Black Iron King, he would not be going without it.